In this video, we have to solve a question on sufficient statistics. So we have to find the sufficient statistics for the gamma distribution given. And we'll be using the factorization theorem. We should remember that the factorization theorem states that for a statistics to be sufficient, it must be factored out into two components. So how do we go about this? Solution. We should recall that from factorization theorem, it states that for a statistics to be sufficient, it must be factored out into two components. These components, one must depend on the parameters given, while the other will depend on x only. So we'll have x1, x2 to xn. We'll have our alpha and beta. This is one component, and the other component does not depend on alpha and beta. So these are the two components. This is one component. Of course, this one depends on alpha, beta. Why this beta? Why this other one does not depend on alpha, beta. So when we are able to factor this out into two components, then we can say the statistics is sufficient for estimating alpha and beta. Now we go. For we to compute this, we say we first take the likelihood function. Say take the likelihood or the product sum of the function given, So this is the function. The likelihood of this function is equal to the likelihood of the distribution given. So we are taking the likelihood as I running from 1 to n, as I running from 1 to n. So we first take the likelihood function of the distribution given, which is the gamma distribution. When we take the likelihood function, we can now be able to factor out this gamma distribution. So what does it mean to take the likelihood function? Taking the likelihood function means that this, or the product sum, it means we have first the first one, alpha all over x1, alpha minus 1, exponential negative beta x1 multiplied by beta raised to the power of alpha into this x2, it continues that way, minus 1 exponential negative beta x2. So we'll move on. So we'll get something like this. Multiplication, it goes to give us the final one. It continues like that because we call it the product sum. So we have beta alpha all over alpha xi's, because this will turn to xi's, alpha minus 1 exponential negative beta, then xi's. So it then means that our likelihood function, which is this, will be equal to f x alpha beta is equal to, if we take the product sum, we'll have beta alpha all over. If you take the product sum of xi's, we'll get summation of xi's raised to the power of alpha minus 1 exponential negative beta summation of xi's as I running from 1 to n, as I running from 1 to n. So if we take the product sum of xi's, we'll get sum times, that means we'll get the sum of xi's. So our likelihood function will now give us this. It will give us this. So the next thing to do is to see how we can factor out this component, this distribution, and see if we can factor it out very well. So we move over to this side of the board to do that. For more on this topic, you need to subscribe to this channel. So we can now write our likelihood function. We can write it out. This thing we see here is equal to f of x alpha beta is equal to beta alpha all over gamma function. We can split this into two to give us summation of xi's as I running from 1 to n alpha times summation of xi's as I running from 1 to n minus 1 exponential negative beta summation of xi's as I running from 1 to n. So we have succeeded in splitting this out because we have alpha and 1 and negative 1, which is this. So this is also equal to our f of x beta is equal to, we write it out, alpha into alpha summation of xi's as I running from 1 to n alpha exponential negative beta summation of as I running from 1 to n xi's multiplied by or times, we bring out this summation of as I running from 1 to n negative 1, or 1 all over this if you want to write it like that. As we can see, we see that we have two components here. We have two components. Of course, this is one of the components, as this component depends on alpha beta, and this other component does not depend on alpha beta. So we have two components. It then means that this will now be alpha beta, one of our components, which is u, x1, x2, xn alpha beta, and this will be another component multiplied by x1, x2, xn, as we have written before. So this is the same thing as this, and this is compared to this. So we have succeeded in factoring this out into two components. Also, this can be written as phi alpha beta into mu summation of xi's. If we bring out this together, then we'll have alpha beta for this, and we can also write this as our x1, x2 to xn. So we can make our final statement if we wish. We have succeeded in finding the sufficient statistics for the gamma distribution. And what we have here is the factorization theorem, which states that for a statistics to be sufficient, it must be factored out into two components, which we have taken the likelihood function to get this, and we have succeeded in factoring it out into two components. So this is one of the components, and this another component. So we can simply write up here. For more on this topic, you need to subscribe to this channel. So we can simply write that the statistics, that means summation of xi as I running from 1 to n, is a sufficient statistics for estimating the parameter alpha and beta. So we have succeeded in using the factorization theorem to find the sufficient statistics for the gamma distribution. For more on this topic, you need to subscribe to this channel to get more videos on gamma distribution and other distribution.